Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Whatever.
As you get out of bed.
Can you do that? So I put more on and give you $100.
No. So fuck. Where was I?
Paul. Okay, so they robbed Paul of all his gold.
Oh, yeah. So these two hang-arounds of the Hells Angels rob Paul, the jeweler. He's the deadhead, and they take him down, and they take him down to.
Sorry.
They take him down. Well, hold on a second. Hold on. We're let me see. Hold on. Where's the pause? Do we have a pause? Where's the pause button, guy? Paul the jeweler. He got robbed by hang-arounds of the Hells Angels. And do you have all the details still? Is the story still good for you?
Yeah, listen.
You got them. You have them all. So basically we went. I see him. I see the dude. I see Big Al. He's not that big. And he's got deadbeats. Trying to like hang out and be like, oh yeah, we're gonna hang out. We're homies. Yeah, okay, yeah, we're homies. We're all homies. Yeah, we're all homies, but you don't steal. We're all family, and you don't steal from your family. That's the thing. That's the point, right? You fucking idiot, Hells Angels. You fucking morons. This was like, God, that was 2009. That was 2009. And that was like my first interaction with the music business and the Hells Angels was ridiculous. This fucking Big Steve and Big Al robbed Paul the jeweler of all of his, like, they went through his truck. He came to my festival like as an artist and a vendor and a friend and a producer, and he was like part of it. So that place was supposed to be protected, right? It was supposed to be protected by a few good men who are in the coalition, right? They're in the coalition,
right?
So if that place was supposed to be protected by a few good men, because you're in the coalition, why the fuck were there Hells Angels strong arm robbering people for $40,000-$50,000 worth of gold and tourmaline? This guy lived modestly, and he did not deserve to have all of his gold and silver and all of his tourmaline, his whole tourmaline collection, stolen, plus all of his jewelry that he had made for sale, pretty much everything and anything that those two scumbags could think that maybe we could make something off of this,
right?
Somehow they took it, and they beat Paul up. Not bad. I mean, he's not, because he's not strong or he's not big, so it was easy to keep him away and keep him down. And then they took off with all his shit and left him with his truck. We see this guy, Big Al.
Yeah.
We see him at the Deadbeats in Albany. So, and he's standing there, and he's all like, he's there with some Puerto Rican guys that I know that are also like the Grateful Dead, and he ain't there with nobody else. But I'm there with everybody. I know every single person, and so I tell some people. This is maybe like 3 weeks, two weeks. It was not that much longer. A few weeks later, I'm like, yo, that's the dude that stole all the shit. It was like one of the only things that went wrong at that festival. So I wanted to make sure I plugged that hole.
Yeah.
So when we see this dude hang around for the Hells Angels, basically hang around, Big Al and Big Steve, whatever.
You see Big Al, Big Steve at Deadbeats.
Oh yeah. So we see it's just Big Al by himself, I believe, with some Puerto Rican guys that do the cocaine thing and also the Grateful Dead thing. And so it's like, all right, let's figure out. So basically, I tell two of my friends that we're gonna take care of this problem. I tell my friends, you grab him by one arm, you grab him by the other arm, and I'll come around his neck, and we'll get him down. It doesn't matter how big he is. You grab an arm, and I'll come around. I'll come from behind around his neck, and we'll bring him down. So I'm like, I said, actually, if you can't get him down, then I'll come around and get him down. If that happens, if you two can't do it, then I'll do it. So you bam, 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 bam. That was the plan. So they did it. I did wrap my arm around his neck, and I did fall backwards. And then, I mean, considering like it was a really, it was not really like that much of a beatdown at all. Went pretty easy on him. But you know, we're like Grateful Dead hippie kids, so we're not like really fucking hurting them, but we beat them up. I don't even think I threw a punch. I don't even remember throwing a punch. I don't. So anyway, but a lot of other people did, and we left. Show's over. And we left. That was it. He's like, well, sorry guys. Whoops. So next thing that happens is there's a full-on investigation because apparently this was a big deal. You guys give a fuck about hangarounds or something. I don't know what that means, but apparently Troy gives a fuck about their hangarounds getting beat up. So, by hippies. Which doesn't happen a lot. You get beat up by hippies, you know you're a fucking idiot. I called Jingles. You call, well, Frankie Dreads, Jingles, whatever. Frank. And he's like, just tell me the entire truth. Just tell me the truth. And don't lie at all. And so I told him the whole story. I told him about what they did all the nuances, how fucked up it was about what they did, stealing someone's private tourmaline collection, like, and also all their gold and silver, but that's their bread and butter. That's what they do for a living on the road. They're like, there was a lot of stuff, you know, probably like $40,000-$50,000 worth of things, and it had not been that long, so we needed it back. These things still exist.
Yeah.
We were.
They still had
Like,
all of this
yeah,
shit.
yeah. Well, whatever. So Rack got involved. Basically, I guess it was made right, and then it was squashed. Nobody's gonna beat anybody up anymore, and everybody's happy. And that's what happened. I was like, okay, cool. That was nice. That was cool. That's perfect. Perfect. Paul never told me how much he lost. He never told me how much he got back. And he, you know, I really didn't actually even talk to him like that. I don't know. I didn't really get in depth with him ever again in life. So, end of that story. But, wow, what's the next one? What's the next Hell's Angel story? Potentially. I was like, yo, I'm gonna take the prison rules out to the street. I'll do that. I'm gonna take and just fucking be, and kind of
I remember that.
yeah.
So you think?
Well, they aren't they? I mean, they are. It's
It should.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, bottom line is that they follow them. They follow the prison rules. Or they're supposed to. The Hells Angels are supposed to follow the rules. The prison ones are, you know, like natural law and all that stuff. So, the next interaction was basically I mean, they were always kind of there, but
do you want a salad that has like the fruit and everything in it? That's good.
yeah. The
You try it?
well, you know,
Really good.
Jingles, or you know, Frankie Dreads.
Yeah.
Depending on who's listening or talking to him at the time, or those are his names. He was running A Few Good Men. He went into A Few Good Men he patched up with a few good men. And became the president of a few good men inside of 7 years.
Yeah.
So now you got Jingles as the president of a few good men. And there was a biker club called the Jury, and they were up there in Fort Edward also. And they were upset with the barn and Phil Barodi, where I was doing the event. My first event, the end of the road. And there was some beef there because they didn't all want to follow this one young this young dude who was like basically came into a biker organization that predates the Hells Angels. It's why they're allowed to exist in New York without being part of the coalition.
Yeah.
Is because the Jury predates, so it's a grandfather clause. They predate the Hells Angels, so they are allowed to operate as a separate, non-controlled entity, separate from the Hells Angels. So the Jury is having some problems, right? They're, the guy who owns the property, Phil Barodi, where I'm doing my little festival, after party thing, / festival. He's in the Jury. He's been in the Jury for decades. And all the Ernie Jury, Shadow Jury.
Yeah.
All these guys were Jury. They all handed in their center patches and like quit. And like, so the barn broke off from the Jury and the tank. And it was like a kind of a big deal that the barn, which that's where I was doing my event.
Yeah.
End of the road. And so there was actually 4 Jury members rode up to a benefit that Phil Barodi was having at the barn for like an 80-year-old lady, for a nice little 80-year-old lady. I think maybe her house burned down. It was, and she needed some money. So they were having a benefit. And there were old people there, and there were kids. And these 4 Jury dudes pull up with one of the motorcycles. They go in, and they start. I guess they started fighting. So all the old guys that basically wanted to quit the Jury, they
were passing up.
All the guys that wanted to quit the Jury were all together at the barn, but they were just like a family or whatever. They're just like, hey, we're just people. We're not doing it anymore, like whatever. So the Jury came. There was a fight. There's like four guys fought all these old guys, and the old guys didn't win necessarily, but regardless, again, right when I was pulling in, they were pulling out after they made their stand and whatever, and like beat some people up, but not, you know, it was really just like a show of force. If anything, no one was like bleeding, or no one went to the hospital. I think someone actually hurt their leg, fighting like old people, like it's like a side, like a collateral damage on their leg, you know, not even from fighting, but from fighting, from like moving too fast or something.
Right.
So like one person had their leg fucked up, and that was basically it. So I lied before. This was my first interaction with these bikers, right? These Hells Angels. I called Jingles, and I was like, "Yo, could you take care of this for me?" And he said, "Yes, no problem." And what he did is, I guess, protected that property while I was on it. So if I was there, that place was protected by a few good men, and they're part of the coalition. So, like, basically, the Hells Angels are protecting the property. The jury can go eat a dick. Get out of here. You're not fucking up this dude's festival or whatever. Because that's what I was worried about. I was like, damn, if they have like a fucking biker war, and I'm doing an event here, that's not gonna look good.
No.
So I called my friend Jingle. There's no S on Jingle.
Yeah,
He's just Jingle.
Yeah.
So so yeah, he tells me you have nothing to worry about. Those guys are not going to be coming back there during your festival, and whatever beef they have is unrelated to your festival, and it's all good. Boom. So there. That was the first time he locked down my festival for me. I was like, oh, sweet. So then, the next time was the thing with Paul the jeweler, when the stupid hang-arounds beat him up and took all of his stuff, and then we saw the dude, and then that one of the dudes that did it, so then we beat him up, and then, but not really bad, just like, you know, like I said, like, just took him to the ground, maybe a couple nice kicks, couple punches, nothing too bad. So, and then that was squashed. I was like, okay, cool. I see how this works. This seems okay. I had Jingle do security. He was head of my security for my dream of doing music events. So every time I did a music event, he would be my head of security. This is as he went from a few good men, patched into a few good men.
Yep.
7 years later, president of a few good men.
Yeah.
And then, because he throws such good parties or something, the Hells Angels said, you have to patch over. So here's your chance to not be a biker anymore. You either patch over to the Hells Angels, or you quit being a biker. And so I guess it was about 50-50. I don't know. Somebody probably does, but I don't know. About 50-50. 50 decided to retire from motorcycle clubs, and about 50% decided to become Hells Angels. And so now we got our friend Jingle, Frank, is the president of the Wallkill chapter of the Hells Angels. So that's cool. That's nice. It seems to fit the whole thing, right? Like Jerry Garcia, what'd they do with the Hells Angels? Like there was a little bit of Hells Angels stuff going on. Jerry Garcia, Owsley was making some LSD, and after a few of his right hand and left hand type of guys took it, it went to the Hells Angels for distribution, mostly. Mostly. So like there was that. So like there's that connection, and then they were hired once for security, but it didn't go that well, I guess. There's like a song about it, and it's like a big disaster. It's like pretty much world famous racist, beat down to death some innocent guy. Like when you're supposed to be running security, you like pick the black guy out of the crowd and beat him to death instead of running security. That was not very cool, but also I guess Jerry Garcia band played on a ferry which was rented by the Hells Angels, and like in New York, so like New York Harbor, like there's a ferry riding around, and Jerry Garcia band is playing on a boat, and the Hells Angels paid for that, so that was like a private thing. So yeah, maybe that's like, so there's some connections. We work, they have worked with each other, and it seems like tradition to work with each other some level. And my goodness. So yeah, now I got all this stuff going on, and I'm throwing these festivals. I'm going for it. I'm doing like bigger ones. I'm trying to get bigger, and bands are expensive, super expensive. Like Phil Lesh wants like $300,000. J-Rad wants like $160, $170, $180, $180, $170,000. I bet Bob Weir wouldn't even answer his phone for less than $250,000 or $300,000 or more. I mean, just him. You want that band? What's that band called? What's Bob Weir's side project band right now?
It's not right now. It's Bob Weir.
Whatever. If you want Bob Weir's band, you got to pay $350,000 pretty much. Like, it's a lot of fucking money. Yeah, a lot of money for these bands. So, but I was trying to go big and get some of them and like make it happen. And I figured I'd keep doing what I was doing by bringing my friend Jingle along and having him help us on our way.
Yeah.
And I think, where are we at? Most of the rest of that is the rest of it like, here's where we get, I mean, there's different versions of what happened since then. There were a good deal of valuable belongings of mine left when I got basically COINTELPRO'd by the feds. They do this thing where like the other side really, like, they basically just like they just swatted me. They got me in a creative way, unlike the normal way, you know. They didn't shoot me in the head. They didn't assassinate me by shooting me in the head, or and they didn't like throw me in prison. They did it. It was like anyway. My valuables came up missing, and people in charge were pointing fingers at other people in charge. And Frank got demoted. He went from president to out bad. He went from president of a chapter of the Hells Angels to out bad. That's basically historic. So it's like, there's got to be a book about this, right? There has to be. Since you know what I mean? You did it. You were the one that did it. You made it fucking historic. You took out a president. It's fucking pretty nuts.
Yeah.
And because he was the one that stole my things, my belongings. He did it. So that's why he's out. He's out because he's a untrustworthy thief, stole from his own best friend from ever ago, and he's out. We're done with him. Or this is what happened. You saw a chance to get rid of the president and come up with a bunch of free, valuable things that I have. You saw a chance to get more money than you ever had before. Like, literally, you leveled up, and then you leveled up again. Like, you get rid of the president, somebody else has to be the president, right? So, yeah, or that happened. So, you sneak thief me while I'm in prison from the feds who come after you also, right? We got the same, right? I think we have the same enemy, unless you're secretly working for them, which wouldn't fucking surprise me at all. We have the same, we're both being persecuted by the same people. That's the way to put it. That's the best way to put it. So, I guess, yeah, how are we going to make things right? Something's going to have to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be like a big we could do a big donation, a big public awesome donation, something to the kids of something. We could have two faces to this. We could do something behind the scenes, and then we could do something publicly. But I get what's mine regardless. You know, it doesn't even matter. I just always end up getting what's mine. So I'm not really that worried about it, but I'm a little disappointed that the history books have to be written this way, between the Grateful Dead, the Hells Angels, and Honor, and yeah, that's basically it. The Grateful Dead, the history, the Hells Angels, the history. And it's gonna take a little bit of a hit, but it's taken a hit before, whatever. It's beating some motherfucker to death because he's black and with a white girl while the Rolling Stones are playing was a worse move. So, you got that going for you. You've made worse moves.